This is the heartbreaking and heartwarming story of Tomi, a boy everyone ignores, until the night he discovers a woman fighting for her life in the dangerous Iron Mile district. He doesn't know who she is. He doesn't know where she came from. All he knows is that she's dying, and he refuses to let that happen. But when he tries to tell people, no one listens. Until he finally reaches Adrian Cole, the grieving millionaire desperately searching for his missing mother, Evelyn Cole. What happens next becomes a powerful reminder that kindness can come from the most unexpected places. Tomi had never run this fast in his entire life. His feet were cut open from the broken bottles scattered across Northcrest's back alleys. Every step felt like stepping on fire. His legs shook. His shirt clung to his body, soaked from the cold morning air. But he didn't stop. He couldn't. Not when someone's life depended on him. Northcrest City was still waking up. Street vendors lifted their shutters. Early buses groaned along the road. But Tomi had been awake all night, out in the Iron Mile district, because of the woman he found there. A woman who did not belong anywhere near that place. A woman everyone was looking for. A woman who was dying. Her name was Evelyn Cole, mother of Adrian Cole, one of the city's most well-known millionaires. For the past 48 hours, Northcrest had been drowning in panic. News stations blasted her picture every hour. Posters with her face were taped to street poles. Cars slowed down at intersections to study flyers. People whispered in markets. Everyone was searching. Everyone except the one person who had actually seen her, a barefoot boy from the streets. A boy nobody ever listened to. The night before had been brutal. Thunder cracked across the sky like something angry. Rain poured so heavily it felt like the city was sinking. Tomi had taken shelter near the Iron Mile district, a place full of abandoned machinery, twisted metal, and mountains of old trash. It wasn't a place where regular people walked. Only those with nowhere else to go ever ended up there. And that's where he saw her. At first, he thought she was another lost person looking for shelter. But then the lightning flashed, lighting up her face, and his breath caught. She looked exactly like the woman on the posters. The same delicate face. The same gentle eyes, tired but soft. The same silver bracelet on her wrist. The same pearl earrings the news kept mentioning. Only now, one of those earrings was broken and hanging by a thread. Evelyn was shivering violently, soaked to the bone. Every few seconds she whispered something Tomi couldn't hear. He leaned closer, trying to make out her words. My Adrian doesn't sleep when I'm gone. My Adrian must be worried. She tried to walk, but her legs buckled, and she collapsed against an old crate. Before Tomi could help her, a man stepped out of the shadows, tall, rough-looking, eyes cold. Without a word, the man snatched her purse. Evelyn had no strength to fight. She fell again, hitting the side of her head. Tomi screamed for help, but the thunder swallowed his voice. Rain hammered down so hard he could barely see. When the thief disappeared, Evelyn tried to stand again, but her legs shook uncontrollably. She stumbled deeper into the Iron Mile district, dropping her phone somewhere in the mud, losing her wallet, losing her way. And finally, she collapsed completely. Cold. Weak. Barely breathing. No ID. No phone. No help. No hope. Except for Tomi. The boy tore off his own shirt despite the cold and laid it over her. All night he stayed beside her, holding her hand, whispering, "Please don't die, whenever her breathing slowed. But by sunrise, she still hadn't woken up. That's when Tomi ran, barefoot across the city, praying he'd find Adrian before it was too late. Across town, Adrian Cole stood in the street looking completely broken. For 2 days he hadn't slept. He hadn't shaved. He hadn't eaten much. His voice cracked during every press briefing, and now he was outside again with his partner, Sienna, still wearing the same red dress from the last interview, begging for leads. Every minute without news felt like losing her all over again. Then suddenly, a small voice screamed from the distance. Sir! Sir, your mother. She's alive. I saw her. Adrian spun around sharply. He saw a ragged little boy running toward him, soaked, shivering, bleeding through his torn pants. Adrian's face tightened with frustration. Not again. Not another kid. He stepped forward sharply. Stop. Stop right there. I'm tired of these lies. I don't have time for this. Go home. Tomi stumbled forward, chest heaving. I'm not lying. She's in the Iron Mile district. She fell, she hit her head, she can't move. Adrian snapped, grabbing Tomi by the shoulders. Stop using my mother for money. Tomi flinched from the pain, but he didn't step back. I don't want your money, he cried. I want help. Sienna gasped at the desperation in his voice. Still, Adrian shook his head. No. I can't fall for another lie. Not again. Tomi's voice cracked so hard it hurt to hear. She was robbed. She lost everything, her phone, her bracelet, her purse, she couldn't walk, she kept calling your name. Adrian froze. Something in Tomi's voice cut through him. Just then, with shaking hands, Tomi reached into his pocket and pulled out something small. A broken pearl earring. Sienna didn't even breathe for 3 full seconds. Oh my goodness. Adrian, that's hers. Adrian stared. His world stopped. He whispered, where did you get that? Tomi swallowed. I stayed with her all night. Please, she needs you. Sienna dropped to her knees and held Tomi's arm. Sweetheart, where exactly is she? Behind Iron Mile, he cried. Near a crushed green container. She was freezing. Adrian's chest collapsed inward. For a moment, he couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. This child, injured, dirty, terrified, had been telling the truth. And Adrian never listened. He put a hand over his face, trying not to break down in the middle of the street. Then he looked straight into Tomi's eyes and whispered. Take me to her. Tomi led them through alleyways most Northcrest residents never dared enter. Sienna lifted her dress off filthy puddles, but she never once slowed down. Adrian stayed right behind Tomi, his heart pounding so loudly it felt like thunder. Every step felt like a countdown. Tomi kept looking back, panting, it's close, almost there, just keep coming. As they walked deeper, the city changed. Nice buildings turned into rusted fences. Streets turned into dirt. The smell of smoke and metal filled the air. They had reached the Iron Mile district. Even in daylight, it was a terrifying place, piles of rotting trash, broken machines, twisted steel, the wind rattling loose tin sheets. Sienna covered her nose. Adrian didn't even notice the smell. He only thought of one thing. Mom. 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 Tomi slowed down. His voice shrank. She's behind that container. A massive rusted green container leaned sideways, half crushed like something had fallen on it. Soot covered it completely. Tomi pointed with a trembling hand. She's there, she wasn't moving this morning. Adrian ran. He rounded the container, and froze. There she was. His mother. Evelyn Cole. Collapsed against the metal wall. Her hair tangled. Her face pale and cold. Her hands scraped. Her clothes drenched from the storm. One bracelet broken, one earring missing, the other clipped on weakly. But her chest rose weakly with tiny breaths. Adrian fell to his knees. Mom. Mom, oh my God. Mom. His voice broke in half. Sienna knelt beside him, gripping Evelyn's hand. Evelyn, sweetheart, we're here. We're here. Tomi stood several feet away, hugging himself, afraid to come closer. Afraid the millionaire might be angry. Or blame him. Or tell him he wasn't needed anymore. He lowered his head. He always expected rejection. All his life. But this time, it was different. Adrian looked up at him, eyes wet, voice shaking, and whispered. How long was she like this? Tomi swallowed. Since last night. After the storm stopped, she tried to stand but fell again. I stayed with her. I didn't want her to be scared. Sienna choked on a sob. Why didn't you call the police? The rescue teams were everywhere. Tomi looked away. They don't listen to boys like me. Adrian's heart cracked. Tomi continued quietly. I told a man in uniform. He told me to stop begging. I told a shopkeeper. She said I was lying. I tried again this morning, 2 people, they didn't even look at me. He wiped his eyes with the back of his hand. People like me, we get ignored. I'm used to it. Silence. Heavy silence. Sienna reached out and held Tommy's hand gently. Oh, sweetheart. Adrian stood up slowly. Listen to me, Tommy. The boy looked up, frightened. You saved my mother. Tommy shook his head fast. No. I didn't. I tried. No, Adrian said again, voice firmer. You saved her. If you hadn't stayed with her, she would have died alone. Tommy's lips trembled. No one had ever said something like that to him before. Sienna dialed emergency services immediately, hands shaking so hard she nearly dropped the phone. Within minutes, the faint sound of an ambulance siren echoed through the industrial district. Tommy froze. Are they going to take her? Yes, Adrian whispered, to help her. To warm her. To keep her alive. Tommy's shoulders loosened. But when the ambulance pulled up, he stepped back, intimidated. People like him didn't ride in ambulances with millionaires. He didn't belong there. At least, that's what he believed. But Adrian turned to him and said softly. Tommy, come closer. The boy didn't move. I'm just a street kid, he whispered. You are the reason she's still breathing, Adrian replied. You are coming with us. Sienna reached her hand out gently. Come with us, honey. She'll want to see you when she wakes up. Tommy hesitated. Then he stepped forward. In the ambulance, he sat next to Evelyn, holding her hand again, the same way he held it all night. Her eyelids twitched. As if she felt him there. I promised you, Tommy whispered softly, I told you I'd bring him. Adrian heard it and swallowed a sob. You kept your promise, he said quietly. Better than anyone else. The ambulance doors closed. Hospital, Adrian told the medics, his voice strong for the first time in 2 days. The siren wailed. Northcrest City blurred past the window. And Tommy watched as the Iron Mile district, the place where he'd spent so many nights alone, disappeared behind him. For the first time in a long time, he wasn't alone. For the first time in his life, someone believed him. And for the first time ever, he was riding toward a future bigger than anything he had ever imagined. Because the night he refused to abandon a woman whispering her son's name. He didn't just save a millionaire's mother. He saved himself. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like the video, drop a comment telling us where you're watching from, subscribe, turn on notifications. Your support helps us bring more real, powerful human stories to life. Thank you for watching. See you in the next emotional journey.